Another beautiful morning here at Lower Trestles in San Clemente, California for the Dawn Patrol show, Swatch Women's Pro, Hurley Pro. Another classic day here in California, guys. It's been an unbelievable event so far. No competition yesterday. Hopefully we'll be underway today. Todd Klein joined by Strider Wasilewski, Peter Mel. Boys, how you feeling this morning?
Amazing. Are you kidding me?
You
The
look
sun's
great.
out, little waves are coming through. I mean, if they're not, I'm going out. It looks fun out there to me.
Peter Mel?
All good.
Alrighty, we've got a big show ahead of us today. We'll have some special guests on the desk. We know that. We'll kick things off with event standouts. Lakey Peterson, as I mentioned, will join us. Current number 5 in the world. We'll also have her coach on, Mike Parsons, which he's obviously been helping a lot of surfers, but working with Lakey throughout the year, as well as the Surfline Forecast, hoping that we'll finish things up here. Guys, we're already into the semifinals for the Swatch Women's Pro and the quarterfinals for the Hurley Pro. We've had a lot of standouts throughout the event. Strider Wasilewski, who do you think's been standing out the most for you on both divisions?
On the women's side of things, I really have to say that Carissa Moore pretty much took the hot seat for me. She really looked strong out there, and for her to compose herself after Tyler came in with a 9-point plus ride right off the bat in this heat, it proved to me that she really wants that title. She buckled down, she put the scores up she needed, and in the end, she really composed and was mature enough to have the strength in her competitive form and game and mind strength to take down that heat, which is really, really hard to do. Along with, it's just really hard because you got so many good surfers in the world out here, but Joel Parkinson is looking so good in this event. He is so clean on the face, and I know we got some smaller conditions coming, but I think we're gonna have waves at this size. And with that said, look at how good he looked. He looked so smooth and so clean. I'd like to see him throw in a little extra drama, actually, towards the tail end of this event, so we can see him kind of spice it up a little bit to get out of that such perfect form almost. I hate to say it, but I think that the judges and everybody else likes to see a little bit of flair, a little bit of extra drama thrown in there. I don't know what you think.
Well, my standouts for this event would have to be Mick Fanning. I think that heat up against Kelly Slater was a world title implications to the utmost form. I mean, coming up against a guy like Kelly Slater, it was a heat that they've had in the past, and I know that ultimately it comes down to who's going to get the best waves. I mean, Mick had to hear the crowd go bananas with that wave that Kelly got, that the wave heard around the world, but Mick didn't let him phase it whatsoever. And like I said, this was something that he had to get through this heat in order to keep his dream alive for a title. I mean, ultimately it wasn't the end all of it all, but I think that a lot will come out of this for confidence for Mick. I think that he's also building momentum throughout this entire event. And for me also, the standout of this event has been Lakey Peterson. I mean, she is on a board that is stuck to her feet. She is looking super confident. That heat against Courtney Conalog was a big one, and she looked so loose, didn't look like she was going to be stressed out and stiff at all. She was looking amazing, and I think this is an event that she hasn't won since 2012, and I think that this is an event that she can come out and win.
I look forward to having Lakey on the desk to get some insight, as well as from her coach, Mike Parsons. For me, guys, on the men's side, it'd have to be Gabriel Medina. He's our defending world champ. He's just something about lowers. You guys know it's a high-performance wave. For me, the number 1 guy in the world, when you think of high performance, is obviously Felipe Toledo. But for me, Gabriel Medina, he's really mixing it up on his backhand. He's able to get up into these pockets and throw a lot of spray to the sky. But if there is those lefts, you guys know what he can do on those lefts as well. So, I'm looking for him to really step things up. Not to mention, his average score throughout this event has been an 8+. Okay, so it's excellent scores for Gabriel Medina. If he keeps that momentum through, I think he can take this one out.
You talked about him having the lethal forehand. I mean, he's got big scores. He's the only one who's been getting big scores on the left.
And then for me on the female, for the women, it was Dimity Stoyle is the standout performer for me. She's had a tough start throughout this year, guys. 5 straight 13ths, and now she took down Sally Fitzgibbons in the quarterfinals. She's into the semifinals. For me, that's the standout performer for the women. Dimity Stoyle, she's going to be tough to beat. She's really strong on that rail, and that suits the conditions out here that we've seen so far.
I think part of that was a confidence booster, and she's got one of the Gudauskas brothers in her corner here coaching her, teaching her about which waves to catch and how to, what to do on them. So it's really interesting to see the local knowledge playing out for her out here at this event.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you. I think that having a Gudauskas, I mean, positive vibe warriors, right? I mean, ultimately, all he's going to do is just instill confidence in Dibney, and it shows.
That's a good point. It keeps him at bay as far as the nerves, as well as it gives him good insight as far as where to sit in the lineup. Well, let's find out if we're going to get into that lineup today. Are we going to kick things off? Standing by with our commissioner is Chelsea Cannell. Chelsea, what's happening down there? Are we going to have competition?
Good morning, Todd. Yes, I'm here with Jesse Miley-Dyer, our commissioner. And Jesse, we had such a fantastic start to this event. Then we've had a couple of lay days. I know we're all really eager to get the competition going with so much on the line. Will we be getting in the water today?
You know, there's still a few little waves around, but we know that there's definitely something better coming, so we're not going to be on today. You know, we've been looking at the forecast, and you know, when you can see the promise of something better to come, and especially when we've had such incredible conditions for the first 4 days of competition, sometimes, you know, to have a few lay days at this point of the game, it's kind of almost nice to be able to reset and get your energy levels back. So, you know, we're looking forward to coming back when the swell gets better.
It's been such a credible event. We're really looking forward to the rest of it. And one of the standout competitors here has been Lakey Peterson. She will be on the desk when we come back. Stick with us. We've got more Dawn Patrol coming up.
Welcome back to Lower Trestles here for Dawn Patrol and another beautiful day in Southern California. We do have some surf, but not the surf that we want out there for the competitors. With that said, though, some of the competitors making their way out there to keep that form, as we see Mick Fanning out there, as well as many of the locals, as we've seen every morning out here at Lower Trestles. Everybody loves to get a piece of Lower Trestles, including these two lovely ladies next to me. We'll now welcome in Rosie Hodge and current number 5 in the world, Lakey Peterson. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning. How you doing?
You're good, thanks. Did you get a chance to get out in the water this morning, Lakey?
I did. I just came in. So, yeah, there's a couple fun ones. The south wind's kind of up this morning and making it a bit funky, but still had a few.
Well, no competition today, but obviously having a fantastic go so far in this event. You're into the semifinals. You know, you're into the quarterfinals. What's it been like here for you to compete in your backyard? You relocated here to San Clemente about a year ago. Has it been, you know, easier for you competing in your backyard as opposed to traveling to some of the other spots that we've seen you this year?
Yeah, I think so. You know, you just feel more comfortable, especially on days like today. Honestly, on lay days, I think it's the nicest to be home, just because it's not like you're staying in a different hotel room. Like, I'm in my own bed and my family's here, and you know, I think when the waiting periods kind of go a bit longer, that's when it's really helpful. And so, yeah, I just feel real comfortable, and the crowd, obviously, it's so nice to have people behind me here and my family and everything.
Well, let's talk about probably the biggest heat so far we've seen with the women in the Swatch Women's Pro. defeating current #1 in the world, Courtney Conalog. You know, you knew you were going to have your work cut out. She's been probably the standout performer of the event so far. We saw her actually take to the air in one of her heats. You know, what was this heat like for you?
Oh yeah, I mean, I knew going up against Courtney, I had to really surf my best. She's #1 in the world for a reason, you know, and she's been surfing amazing all week. I've been seeing her warm up, and I've been seeing her heats, and she's kind of had a 9 in nearly every heat. I was so bummed I didn't make that last maneuver, but yeah, so I don't know, I was trying to think more, not getting worried about her, just think more about myself and what I needed to do, and not get, you know, rattled that I was against her in that heat, and not think too much about what she was doing, just focus on what I was doing and what I needed to do to get the job done. So.
And like, you know, Labor Day weekend, the waves were absolutely firing. I saw you down here every day, relentlessly in the water, and you kind of had that aura about you that you've really been putting in the hard work, and you feel like it just looks like at the moment you're in the zone. Do you have that feeling inside of you when you pull on the competitive rash guard that, you know, you really out here to win, and that's the zone that you're in the moment?
Yeah, I do. I feel really good right now. I haven't really had this momentum in an event for a little while, it seems like. You know, I've been really consistent. I've gotten a lot of quarters this year, and I had the one semi back in Fiji. But I don't know, certain events, you do feel sort of a different momentum, and things are just happening, and stuff's just falling into place. It doesn't seem like such an uphill battle, I guess, at some events. It seems more smooth. And yeah, I'd be lying if I said I didn't really feel that at this event. So hopefully I can keep it going for 2 more heats, and you know, it'd be really awesome if I can get in that final and just have a great heat there. So.
Lakey, looking at your ratings over the last few years, in 2012, 7th, 2013, 7th, then 6th last year, you're currently 5th. Beating Courtney like that, you know, and knowing where you're at mentally and with your equipment, could this be the year for your title?
I guess it could be that, you know, the door's still wide open in terms of getting a world title. It's all so close between the top 5. And yeah, you can never, I mean, for me, honestly, I'm just trying not to think about that. I guess there's no pressure for me. I'm not in, you know, the 3rd, 2nd, or 1st spot. I'm in 5th, and no one's really thinking about me, I think, in those terms at this point, which is kind of nice.
Are you, though? I mean, and if you're not, then what are your goals for this year?
Yeah, I mean, the goal is always to win a world title, ultimately. Like, you know, you go into every year, and you want to be #1 in the world. That's why, you know, we're all doing this, I think. But for me, I think my goal is to finish in the top 3 this year. I would love to get up in that mix and at least be in it, and, you know, change some things up and stir it up in that top 3 mix there. And so top 3, and I'd love to win, you know, a couple of events here. I think that would just feel really good. And, you know, if I get close and that world title in Honolulu comes around and the world title is in reach, then game on.
And you know, it's so interesting to hear you say that you're not really in that conversation, because I think a lot of expectations are falling, you know, on the usual suspects like Sally or Courtney or Carissa. But you have a look at what's happened in this contest, like a lot of those top girls are out, and most of it, you know, thanks to you, took out Courtney, and then Sally also falling out, and Tyler Wright. So, you know, this event is actually a massive opportunity for you. Does that put any pressure on you going into the semifinals, or are you just rolling with it as you go?
Yeah, I mean, this is a huge event for me, and since I've kind of broken through that quarterfinals, it's really taken me into more of that conversation and put me in a better spot for this year. So, but at the same time, I don't really feel that pressure. Yeah, I don't feel like that's all on me at the moment. I feel like all the eyes are on Carissa and on Courtney, and I think partially why I did well against Courtney the other day was because of that. I kind of felt like I had nothing to lose, and, you know, she had a lot of pressure on that heat. It was a huge one for her. So I don't know, I kind of feel like I'm in a really good spot, and of course in my head I want it, and I know, and I look at points, and I know exactly where I am and exactly what I need to do. You know, I'm aware of it, but I'm also not putting all of my eggs in that basket. I'm just trying to surf the best I can and really just, you know, win this event and then go from there.
And then also yesterday when I was leaving, I heard Brandon Gilmet, the Hurley team managers, tell you to put that board on ice. You know, that does look like such a magic board underneath your feet. Do you feel like, you know, surfing and competing is more fun when you can rely on your equipment?
Yeah, it really is. When you know, surfing, there's so many things that are out of your control. The waves, the wind, judging. There's so many things that we can't control as surfers, and so when you get a good board under your feet, it's just one less thing to have to think about. The board's going to work well, and thank you so much to CI, because they've been honestly giving me the best boards I've ever had this year, I think. And the one I'm on now is a Rook 15, which I know a lot of guys are riding. Adriana's on that, Nat's on that a lot. It's been really fun too to just learn more about boards this year, and working with Mike, he's taught me a lot about that, and I think that's been just really cool, just to know your equipment and know what you're on. And this one feels great under my feet. So.
Alrighty, well, up next on Dawn Patrol, we will have Mike Parsons, Lakey Peterson's coach, join us here on the set, as well as Lakey Peterson. Stay with us here on Dawn Patrol. We are here at Lower Trestles, and it's about time to get in the water at some point today, but before we do, we've got some special guests here joining us. Rosie Hodge, obviously on the desk, but Lakey Peterson, current number 5 on the world, and now, or on the desk, I should say, and her coach is now joining us, Mike Parsons. Mike, good morning and welcome.
Good morning, thanks.
And we were catching up with Lakey just prior to that break, and she talked about some of the things that you've helped her with throughout this year. How long have you guys actually been working together?
About 3 full years now, so it's been really fun to watch the progress, and we've had a blast. I travel to all the events with Lakey, and we spent a lot of time in the off season in Hawaii before Honolulu last year working on the bigger wave stuff, and it was fun to see that come to fruition at Margaret River this year when it was big, and her making the semis in Fiji was just it was really kind of a thrill for both of us, because that was an area we recognized that she needed to improve, and to get those good results in those places was really fun.
And so at the start of the year, I mean, just to kind of give us an overview, do you guys look at the schedule, and is like, how do you guys kind of format the year, if you will? You look at the schedule, and like you said, you touched on the big wave side of things. That's something you guys targeted, and how did you kind of prep to go into that event knowing it was going to be big waves to get her prepared?
Well, like I said, we've spent extra time in Hawaii and worked on her equipment, and she sort of knew that those were the areas. From the previous year, she had a tough time in Fiji, so she went on an extra trip there. And so we organized the whole year, like before Snapper, look at what boards we'll need for there, and then maybe plan a month or so ahead and think about what we might need at Margaret's, what we might need in Fiji, and try to find those time frames where you can work on those types of waves and the equipment for them.
And Lakey, it's so easy just to become so surf focused. You kind of lose that kind of life balance, especially when surfing is your job. How do you stay balanced besides doing the surfing thing, but then also bring in some factors when you're traveling or when you're at these events to kind of keep it fresh and keep it fun?
Yeah, I mean it's a long year, and a lot of times it's really long waiting periods, and you got a lot of days in a row. It's kind of weird. You have to shut off, but you also have to stay on a little bit, and that can be tiring and taxing. And I don't know. This year though, it's felt different. It's my 4th year doing it, and I think I'm really able. I used to get really homesick, and it used to be really hard. I always used to want to kind of just be home after a couple weeks on the road, but now I just really have learned to just enjoy it. And also with Mike coming with me, he knows all of these areas that we go to so well. So now we're going to like super fun surf spots that I never would have known to go to, or whatever, because he has that knowledge. So that's always super fun, and we try and keep it fun. Last year in Portugal we went golfing, and I think I beat you.
Yeah.
We do
bring
fun
that up.
stuff, yeah. Had to.
But I also saw, I know, Mike, you have your pilot's license and you guys get to go to Mexico and go on those trips, but I also saw something on Instagram, Lakey, where you were looking at getting your pilot's license. So do you kind of, get that kind of inspiration from Mike, or find different things that you would seem to enjoy too?
Yeah, for sure. We've done a couple of really fun trips down to Mexico, and Mike's got his own plane, and it's just been super cool. Obviously, when we fly there in his plane, I've just been able to sit up front and kind of check out what he's doing and take the controls for a second. And I don't know. I just think it's been cool. It really inspired me to want to learn, how to fly, and to focus on something else too. Like you said, that's a great point. When I'm on the road, I can study that and kind of turn my brain off from surfing. And obviously Mike's a pilot, so I ask him questions all day long. Half our conversations are probably about flying, not even surfing now. But no, it's really fun, and yeah.
Mike, thanks so much for joining us. Lakey, best of luck in the semifinals. Thanks for joining us as well. Up next, guys, we'll talk the forecast. When will we see competition resume?
Lower Trestles here for the competition of the Hurley Pro. It's probably the most perfect place for a competition that's maneuver based. This place has just got this perfect peak of these cobblestone rocks that go out here and formed like these really long sweeping rights. Gives you section after section down the line, or gives you a perfect tapered wall to do any kind of maneuvers. It's just so much fun, and I normally try and sit just out from the groms and try and pull rank on the grommets on the inside.
lower trestles. Normally one of the most high-performance waves of the world, you could say, but unfortunately today it's not looking so high-performance, guys. As we look forward to the forecast courtesy of Surfline, Pete, when will we see the skate park come back here to lower trestles?
Well, I still think there's some opportunity out there.
For a guy like you.
Yeah. Thanks, Todd. If you look at our forecast, this place is a magnet for southern hemi swells. It's a magnet for tropical swell. I mean, it's one of the best focused spots on the planet, like you said, and it ultimately takes anything that's out there and turns it into a rippable shoulder high to head high wave. We've had lots of southern hemi. It's trickling in and it's slow. It's inconsistent, but when they do come, there's still quality waves there. You just have to wait it out. Not necessarily enough for competition, and that's why we're waiting it out, because ultimately we're going to see in this next slide here, it's going to show that there is a new pulse of southern hemi swell, which is in the water and headed our way. That's all that tropical stuff, which is going to show us a little bit of tropical stuff as well, showing up on
weather-wise.
And we'll see some weather changes. We've seen it earlier in the week. You can see right there that's that southern hemi. So we're going to have a combo kind of similar to what we saw. Not going to be nearly as strong as what we had in the beginning of the waiting period, but it is going to rise. We have Thursday, Friday to look at. The winds are going to be very similar to what we see, the typical offshore flow in the morning, kind of light and variable, and then turning onshore in the afternoon.
Well, let's look at some of the matchups for the semifinals for the Swatch Women's Pro. We know that we're down to 4 surfers now. One of these women is going to win the event. Strider, who's it going to be?
The winner?
Yeah, quickly.
Carissa Moore.
Well,
Peter Brown?
I'll go. Lakey's going to make it into that final, and it'll be a Lakey-Carissa final, and I think Lakey's going to take her first win since 2012.
You know why I think Carissa's going to win is because I love the way Lakey's surfing. I think she's definitely been super strong in this event so far, but I think that the repertoire of maneuvers isn't there for her. She's got the one tail waft kind of air 360 thing, but the turn down in the bowl with the torquing in the shoulders and everything else, that's amazing. It's going to get her there, but I don't think it's going to win the contest. I think Carissa's got too many good maneuvers in the bag to pull out at any time, and then she's going to beat her with that.
Well, we'll see. Hopefully we'll resume competition tomorrow. Join us once again, 7:30 a.m. tomorrow morning here from Lower Trestles. For Dawn Patrol, guys, have a great day. We'll see you then.